I want to take you through the functionality that we have built here over the last year. Um, this is our core platform. At the core of it, I want to help you all understand what's happening under the hood. And I'm going to do that by asking a really simple thing of our platform is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to grab a demo doc. This is a set of CCNRs, and I'm going to ask it a really simple question. And that question is just, can I park an RV here? Now, when I ask it that question, a lot of you have seen me do this demo. What's going to happen is that BrokerBot's going to respond, and it's going to look at this document. And this document here, it's pretty dirty. You've all seen CCNRs. We're all real estate people. If you just take and you search through this document and you try to find anything about RV parking, if you use an OCR model, it's not going to find it because you can't read it. So some of these other LLM models, they use what's called a VLM or computer vision to read things like a human. What we have built inside of our platform is thousands of bench tests. Those bench tests give us the ability to evaluate the different models for their strengths and their weaknesses. As of today, we have the ability to call on over 500 different large language models and tools inside of BrokerBot. But the magic that we do is that we don't ask you as the user to figure out which tools are good or bad at what. And so what we do is we just dynamically figure out based on what the user gave us, what's the right model to call, and we return a trustable response immediately. And so you'll see here, it just immediately reviews this and it gives me the section back. Now, a lot of you have probably tried something like this in ChatGPT or Anthropic, and you've had mixed results. And that's the beauty of our platform is we have, for something like this, we're probably calling either Mistral or Claude Opus. What many of you may not recognize is for you to get access to Mistral, Opus, Sonnet, or OpenAI's 5.1, or Gemini Pro, Nano Banana Pro, you would be paying about $500 a month per person just in AI subscriptions to have access to these models that we have wired in from the back end inside of BrokerBot. And more importantly, you don't even need to learn which one does what the best. We just do it for you magically. But where the tools start to really get interesting is after I've had it find the thing. Now, what I said to BrokerBot here is I said, I need you to put this in a format that's appropriate that I can text. If you have verified your phone number in BrokerBot, it already knows your cell phone number. It calls a tool and it sends me a quick text summary of this exact thing that I'm looking at. And so you'll see here, and my screen is blurred. So trust me what it says. Hey, based on Desert Casita CCNRs, RVs can't be parked here or stored. Gives a quick summary on what's going on. I can now forward that to my client. And then I even say, thanks, I need to email this. The client's name is Max. Now, what you saw it do here is it searched through my Google contacts, my Gmail contacts, and my contacts in the BrokerBot system. And it says, I found all these different contacts. Which is the right one? You want me to use this one? And I said, yep, that one. It then drafts the email to Max, puts it all together, and then all I have to do is say, thanks, send it. And it has the ability to go right into my Gmail and send it from my connected Gmail account. This is what's become possible with all of the different tool orchestration that we have built. And so you're seeing here live, it's actually firing this email over to Max and it is sent and he's now got it. What we've done is we've made it smart so that it's never going to send an email without you proofing it. It can set calendar invites and do all those things. So if you're part of our Google beta, we're going to show you in the hour after this how people are using this to be their transaction coordinator. Because if you think about what's possible, it can pull all the key dates out of the file, put them in your calendar, and there you go. Max is showing you he already got the email. So that's the high level of what's happening. There's three ways that we make the platform smarter. Number one is by uploading your knowledge. In this knowledge base, you can upload an enormous amount of information, CSVs, PDFs, onboarding guides, things like this. The magic that we do is in the back end, We figure out using our intellectual property, what is this? When do we need to use it? What's important and what's not important in here? And we do this fully hands-free for you. You'll probably never open this screen, but the team has now given you the ability to come in and add topics and say, hey, this is an important thing for onboarding. This is an important thing for offboarding, whatever. And you can add those topics and you can curate this, but we're doing it fully hands-free for you. And then we've also now given you the ability to modify in this permissive layer how the assistant can use these different things to support anybody that it talks to, just your associates, or even subgroups. So if you're going to set up your agent teams in the platform, those would be private subgroups, and I'll show you how that works in a second. And this permissions layer exists across all of the ways that we teach BrokerBot. So way number one, you upload things. Way number two is through the web crawler. Web crawl is really simple. There's a list of domains that we have pre-provisioned, and then your brokerage owners, your account owners, they can add domains to this. The reason we don't give it access to the full internet is we would never want you to say, how do I do a short sale? And it goes and it finds some person's blog article on Reddit that is wrong. And so you and your brokers can put in the URLs that you want it to crawl. And so as we started talking about those workflows, like, hey, you want it to help do your property verifications, you want it to look up licenses, you want it to run comps, provide broker price opinions, just add the websites you want it to use. The key here is it will not today punch through password protected websites. That's something that'll likely get done in the future. But for today, anything that is publicly available on the web, it has the ability to go crawl and retrieve in real time. Now, the third way that we augment the knowledge is through natural language training. And so what you'll see here, I was sending a calendar invite to my friend Rich to meet and set up his accounts. And then I noticed that it didn't put a Google Meet on the invite. And so I told it, hey, when you do this, you should always include this. Well, two things happened in this chat. Number one is it fixed the meeting invite. And number two, it took this as a learning moment. And what you see here is the machine is teaching itself. This is a clear process correction, and this is how I fix this. So if you're an agent using the platform and there's something that you want it to remember, you can just tell it, hey, I want you to remember this. I want you to save this for training. Now, the caveat here is your leadership has to approve, reject, or refine these. But for leadership, you have the ability to scope these to anybody that talks to BrokerBot, your internal agents, or private all the way down to an individual agent or team. So we can create a tremendous amount of personalization inside of the platform for your users within your brokerages. I'm going to pause for a second and look at chat. Yeah, awesome. Yes. Lisa Harvey says, when you say Opus, are you referring to Opus Clip? What I'm referring to is Anthropic's Claude Opus models. They have a number of these. They have Claude Opus, Claude Sonnet, etc. William says, can this AI be able to create booklet for a potential seller and buyer? The short answer is it'll create all the content today and it can generate images. But I'm not aware of a tool that just like spits out a full 25-page PDF booklet that's like turnkey. If you find that, tell us about it. We'd love to integrate it. So that's training. Training is the third and final way that we augment the knowledge of the machine. Now we give you 5 ways to talk to the machine. Number one is we provision a phone number and a broker hotline. This phone number sits behind voice AI, SMS, and MMS. So think for a minute, you're out in the field, your client says, hey, I really like those trees. What kind of tree is that? Take a picture, text it to BrokerBot. It'll give you the answer instantly. You're sitting in front of a contract trying to fill it out. Take a picture. What do I put online, whatever, of this contract? You can text it, call it, and everything that you do will be back when you log in the platform, that you can always pick up those conversations online. And so here for our leaders, this is a new feature that we've launched. there's now a chat widget that is trained on all your same knowledge. So across all these channels, there's one assistant at the center of it. The email announcement for this goes out later today. And this chat widget you can configure, and you just grab this little snippet of code and you embed this on your website, and it can sit publicly on your website and chat with customers and support them. Or you can flip this toggle and that will make it an internal widget. And so we have some large customers that have their own intranets where they're putting BrokerBot in the intranet. So you flip the switch on or off if you want it to be internal or external. And now you just give one more place that BrokerBot can chat with your agents, your clients, etc. Next up from there is we integrate with Slack. Now, obviously, agents can always use this on the web or on their phone. And on the web is where you're going to get the most horsepower. But when you integrate with Slack, BrokerBot can join the Slack team and join a channel. You just say at BrokerBot the same way that you would add a person, and it will be able to respond. And it'll still have all the utility of the things that are in your knowledge base, etc. Now, if you're part of our Google beta, you will see these options here. If you are not part of our Google beta, we'll be launching this publicly as part of our Pro subscription in January. If you'd like to be added to the Google beta, maybe somebody from the BrokerBot team could drop the Google beta sign up link in the chat, and people can add. There's no cost for the Google beta. I want to be fully transparent. When we ingest the entirety history of your Gmail and your Google Calendar, it is not free for us, excuse me, to be able to process all that data. So we are going to have to charge something for that. We don't know how much yet, but what we're looking to do is learn. So that's why we're giving it away for now, so that we can see how much processing power this eats up and what we'll need to charge. Yvonne asked a really good question. Is it possible to add the chatbot to KW agent sites? Yes, is the short answer. In probably the middle of Q1, maybe the end, we will release a new functionality that we call assistance, which Yvonne, what that would give you the ability to do is to actually create your own assistant. So you would get your own chatbot with its own instructions, with its own phone number that knows everything about your agent business, that truly is like your EA that you own and can train. Today, it's going to be the brokerage level information. We're probably 6 to 8 weeks away from having something that is much more configurable for you at the agent level. And sorry, I'm assuming you're an agent because you asked about agent websites. If you're in leadership, same answer. Terry asked for the link. Yeah, Sean, if you could open that up and drop it in there, that'd be great, just so that we can capture people that are interested in that. We can add them. All right. Now, the next thing here is API. So for some of our large enterprise customers, you can manage your roster via API. If you are not a large enterprise customer writing to an API, what we do is we set up groups in here. Now, these groups can support, maybe you have a commercial division or a luxury division, or even agent teams. So for example, if you're an agent team leader, we can set you up as the team leader of your team. And then we can put all the agents in your team that are members in here. And when we do that, then what we do is we go back to that knowledge base and we create a knowledge folder so that we can have that knowledge folder scoped specifically to just your team. So now we can upload your team's listing presentation, your buyer presentation, ICAs, standard operating procedures, and BrokerBot can support your team right within the brokerage, and only the agents on your team will have visibility into what BrokerBot is doing. So that's a really cool new feature. I think that is massively underutilized. For our leaders that are on that are on the call today and on our platform, you should be setting a consulting appointment with your team leaders and building this out for them, because it's an executive assistant for the team level. It can role play and coach and train. It can work with them, and it does it all based on the team's exact policies. So make sure you set that up. Once you set up your groups, we invite everybody to the tool. There's a couple roles here. There's owners and there's members. The biggest difference between owners and members is owners can set up and control everything I showed you. Members are users of the platform. but owners have the ability to, go in so you can see all your agents' chats and you can support them. And moreover, we can go in here and we can look up individual agent chats and help them. Now, one of the tools that you saw in that original tool slide is translation. BrokerBot now speaks 33 different languages. Um, and so we have a lot of brokerages, especially like in the Bay Area, et cetera, where there's people speaking Mandarin, Cantonese, in different languages, and they're using BrokerBot in their native language, both over the phone, in text, on the web. And maybe the leadership doesn't speak that language. Well, you can come right in here and say, at Maximo, maybe Maximo's talking to it in Spanish. He's mostly talking to you in Spanish. Can you summarize his last 5 conversations in English so that I understand what he needs help with? And BrokerBot can do that for you right with inside this tool. And so the way I got here is I clicked on this, and then we call this chat with my chats. This is a great way to understand how your team's using the platform and support you. Now, that provisioning we typically do with the brokerage leadership team. We get them set up, we invite the agents, and they start to train on and use it. There's a new piece of functionality that we have not rolled out to more than just a few people. We have a couple large associations and MLSs that we're working with. And what that is doing here is this is an escalations platform. So what this allows us to do is actually give keywords so that when the keyword is said, like human, or I need you to escalate this, or get me help, that BrokerBot now has the ability to fire an email and a text off to groups of leaders within your offices and even create tickets in Zendesk or in your email ticketing system. So for our larger brokerage customers where you are like actually managing a ticket backlog for your agents, you can now put BrokerBot as like frontline tier 1 support across all of your different channels, and it can manage this at the front end and then escalate. So if you're somebody that's interested in getting this escalations feature turned on for your office to help us test it, just send us a note to support@brokerbot.ai, and we'll get you added to that, train you on how it works, and help you get set up. High level, I'm going to go back into the platform for a minute, and I want to show you a couple more things we've been working on that are cool. So things, if we use this preliminary contract review assistant, what this is going to do is it's going to go through your contract, extract your key dates, and then it's going to look in your office's knowledge base for Robert, I see your question. I want to talk about that for a second. This is going to go look for your file turn-in checklist, and then it's going to give you a reconciliation between like what's in my contract, is it filled out correctly, and do I have all the forms that I need for my file turn-in checklist? Okay. Now, once you do that, BrokerBot will have extracted all the key dates out of your contract. So you could say, hey, now be my transaction coordinator. Write an intro email to my client summarizing all those key dates. Add those key dates to my calendar. It'll add the option period or the inspection period dates to your calendar. Invite my client to those dates. It's really like, this is where the limits of the technology really are imagination today. And so that's why we're doing this, to teach you all. Now, Robert asked a really important question. And Robert, I see you just sent it to hosts and panelists, but I'm going to share because it's important. And what Robert said is, I'm talking like, and this isn't what Robert said, this is what I'm saying. I'm talking like everybody already knows where to start with AI. There are some of you on here that maybe you're not quite as far along, and we need to take a step back to go forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit new chat. Let me give you a couple really like 101 level tactical things. If I come here and I just say, what can you do for me? BrokerBot will tell you what it can do for you, and it can help you. And it gives you some ideas. Now, inevitably, when it starts doing this, somebody's going to say, well, can you do that? Can you stage a house? Can you make a phone call for me? Whatever. And it will tell you what it can and can't do for you. And what I'll encourage you to do is ask this more than once because we are on a continuous deployment cycle where every day we're updating the tool and adding functionality. So then when I come in here and I say, well, like, all right, well, maybe I want to, I'm just looking through this. Okay, so how do I edit an image in BrokerBot? And you can just talk to it the same way that you would talk to a human, and it will give you the answers in natural language and it will work with you. It will not get frustrated. It will just be helpful. Okay. And so it can help you do all these things for you. Now, I want to give you kind of a quick tip on this. If you all are logged in and you go to the knowledge base and you go to BrokerBot libraries, you're all going to have access to this BrokerBot support library. We have put in here for you this AI prompts guide. A lot of real estate companies out there have shipped AI assistants. What those AI assistants are a number of pre-written prompts like these that you go in and you click on them and they do things for you. It's useful. In our world, we think we could do something more sophisticated than that, but we also understand that some of you may not exactly know where to start. So these quick start guides are in here in the knowledge base. So again, to get back there, knowledge, BrokerBot libraries, BrokerBot support, and there's like a power features one that will give you some kind of more sophisticated use cases. And then there's the quick start guide here. So if you all haven't used these, make sure you get in there and check those out. Those will definitely help you. But BrokerBot is a support assistant. So if you ever have questions about how to do something, literally ask BrokerBot, like, hey, I'm trying to run comps for a client and I'd like you to help me. What's the best way for me to ask you to do that? The more information that you give it, the better it's able to support you. If you talk to it the way that we've been trained to talk to Google, which is hunt and peck, like wood fence installer, uh, it's going to be a lot less helpful. So try to use complete sentences. Appreciate that. I'm going to pop back in here. And I was on a call with the leaders for Keller Williams Market Center #1 this morning, Austin Southwest. And they said, what's the most impressive thing that you can show me? And I don't know, like, I think like thousands of tests of machine learning and how we drive accuracy and all that is really exciting. But I'm also a nerd. So what I've learned is that most people don't care about that. They just expect it to work. But as real estate people, we like when this thing can help us with marketing. So what I want to share with you all is we quietly, over the last few weeks, have implemented Google's new image gen model. It's called Nano Banana Pro. I'm sorry about the name. I didn't come up with it, but that's what it's called. And we have taken and we have wrapped Nano Banana Pro in our thinking model. Now, we have some exceptional software engineers on our team, and the remit for them is they have to make it so simple that somebody like a real estate agent that is not technical can't screw it up. We're getting there. It's very close. But what I want to show you is, and I don't know how many of you have ever tried to like virtually stage a property. I'm going to intentionally give it a really challenging one. And I'm going to give it a bad prompt. And I'm just going to say, here, I'll even just say stage this kitchen. Now, this kitchen presents a really complex problem because the photographer that took this like broke the proportion and the depth is really hard for the machine to read. If you've ever tried to do this in OpenAI or any of these other models, it just doesn't work well. And so what you're seeing here is our thinking model is figuring out what you want it to do. And we redact like the custom instructions because we don't want to give away all of our secret sauce. And you'll see in the first cut, it didn't pass muster. And it says like, nah, this wasn't good. And so it is fixing itself and redoing this for you. And this is the magic of our thinking model sitting on top of like the most cutting edge Gemini models. Um, I'm sorry, my internet is chopping in and out here. So I got to let me just undo my share, reshare, refresh. All right, we're back. And so we were able to go from this to this with a terrible prompt. Now, if you have ever tried to do this, this is going to look like sorcery. Um, and what's crazy is now this thing can actually process text. So I can say, now add the words virtually staged to the bottom of it. I know a lot of MLSs require that anything that is generated with AI or virtually staged has to have a watermark. And so in the old world, it would like turn this into Sanskrit and be mostly gobbledygook. Um, yeah, Cindy, my fave is when it virtually deletes windows and adds doors. It will still do that. This technology is not perfect. Um, it will do that a lot less, and it is a lot better at fixing itself now. And so what you'll see here is it just said virtually staged. It's in English. It is spelled correctly. It's on the photo at the bottom. Like, y'all, you don't realize this is like millions of dollars of the most sophisticated technology that has ever existed in human history could not put words on a picture without you physically typing them until about 2 weeks ago. It's a comical thing. And look, it's still not as good as having a human go in and touch and do things. But what you're seeing is just this massive acceleration of improvement in these tools. And so what I want you all to get excited about is that everybody asks us like, well, what happens when, the next Grok or OpenAI or Gemini thing comes out? Like, will I still need BrokerBot? And the answer is, I don't know that you need us. You could go buy a lot of these tools and hire engineers. You could do it on your own. But our job is to make it easy and make sure you have access to the best tools in a way that doesn't